What if I told you your body remembers everything? Every heartbreak your mother felt, every silence your grandmother kept, it lives in you. The womb is the original library of life. It is the Akashic records in the flesh and in feeling. And through emotional alchemy, you get to rewrite the story your lineage left behind. Welcome back to Womb Wisdom Wednesdays, where we heal, connect, and serve. Today, we are diving into womb memory and emotional alchemy and how your womb stores the memories of your past and uses them to shape your emotions, your patterns, your purpose. And so I want to talk to you about how you can transmute and transform that energy into your own power. So take a deep breath, grab your tea, light your candle, and let's talk. The womb remembers what the mind forgets. See, the mind is very complex. There's all of these neural pathways and neural receptors that are always picking up on things. And so our mind has compartmentalized itself into subconscious, conscious, unconscious. And so, because our mind has the capacity to store away different things, sometimes we forget our experiences from this lifetime and past lifetimes in order to protect us. But the womb remembers. I'm sure you've heard of the book, The Body Keeps the Score. This book is just one example about how our experiences get encoded into our DNA. And guess what? We are born from memory. The womb is the storehouse. It is the subconscious mind. It never forgets. The womb is the aspect of our mind that is always receiving. The subconscious mind never turns off. The subconscious mind can hear what's going on outside, be tuned in to what's happening right in front of you, and be thinking about something in the past. The subconscious mind is always open, receptive, and taking in, just like the womb. The womb is always receiving insight and information through experience, through stories, through DNA, and through residing in our mother's wombs. Did you know that when you are in your mother's womb as a woman and you get to about 6 months of age as a fetus, you already have all the eggs of your children? This means that while you are in your mother's womb, you are also carrying your son and your daughter. And the energy that your mother experiences while pregnant with you becomes encoded in your cells, which becomes encoded in the cells of those eggs who will eventually become your children. This is memory. And this divine feminine journey of womb healing is not about escaping the past, but transmuting it into wisdom. The womb is a living archive. It is our personal Akashic records. And so, three things about the science and the spirit of the womb is this. One, we know from epigenetics that the experience that we have, they change our DNA. They change how we show up. Our DNA directly impacts our legacy, our children, right? And so, what is that? That is a transmission or a transference of energy. All children, all life is birthed through the womb. Number two, the womb as the Akashic records. Because our womb is directly connected to the great mother womb, the divine source womb, We are connected to infinite creation, infinite insight, and infinite wisdom. The reason why that is because the great mother womb has to keep track of her creation. And so, if everybody was forgetting and compartmentalizing and throwing things away and leaving things in the deep, dark abyss, never to be returned again, then the great mother could not look at how our species as human beings, as spiritual beings, is evolving over time. We have to be able to look at where we come from and where we are going. And so the womb being the storehouse and the womb being a mirror of the cosmic field, it holds the data, it holds the emotion, it holds the vibration. This is why, if I tell you a real juicy story, if I tell you how my man was just loving me down, blowing my back out. If I tell you that story in juicy detail, if I tell you how warm and cozy and close and intimate our experience was, if I tell you how electric and magnetic and on fire we were, if I tell you how we were lost in heaven, how we totally left our individual bodies and just became one. You can feel that. Feel into your womb right now, and you will feel life just from hearing my story, just from hearing the pleasure, the juiciness, the arousal. This is the function of the womb, to share information, to birth information, and to transmute information. And so through emotional alchemy, we do the work to change those experiences that are rooted in shame, in guilt, in hurt, and pain. And we evolve them into purpose, into power, into passion, into pleasure. The memories and the trials and tribulations that your womb has stored for the Akashic records, for the transformation and the transcendence of humankind, right? Is not there to taunt you, is not there to torture you, is not there to tear you up. It is there to evolve you so that you show up in the greatest frequency possible and you give and you birth life into the things that support this new unfolding, right? The womb is the ultimate symbol of the sacred feminine. It's the cosmic void. It's the middle point between matter and spirit. It is where spirit comes into matter and then exits that divine portal. It is the place of creation and magic. So why do you need emotional alchemy? What does that really mean? Emotional alchemy means you take the stories, the narratives, the circumstances that you've birthed, that you've witnessed, your mother, your sister, your grandmother birthing these stories that do not align with the highest good. You take the emotion and you set it free. Emotional alchemy is you receiving emotion as a message and not a mistake. And so the process that I've always taken myself through in this process to transform my emotion, to transform what I was birthing from my womb into something more aligned is this. Number one, you have to have awareness. So many women are lacking emotional awareness and emotional intelligence. is because you're running 1,000 miles per hour. You have so many things going on in your mind, and you are not taking the time to come into awareness of yourself. And when you are not aware of how you truly feel, or when you mask how you feel with other emotions, like sadness being portrayed as anger, you miss the opportunity to do the alchemy, to transform the story, the baby that you are nurturing in your womb, and birth something different. So, number one is awareness. You have to become conscious of how you are feeling. Number two is acknowledge. So, I'm aware. Now I'm going to really acknowledge this. Now I'm going to say, okay, this is what this is. A lot of times we avoid giving name and putting a face to what we are experiencing out of fear that if I name it, then I have to deal with it. Then I have to face it. Then I have to transform it. So we want to go into acknowledgement, hence why whenever someone is going through their healing process with alcoholism, they have to say, hi, my name is this, and I suffer with this. It's the acknowledgement. It's to say, okay, this is here, and now I need to do the work. After we acknowledge, we have to accept, right? Because if we resist or we fight what is present, then we do not allow the space for transformation. See, once we accept and we say, okay, this experience, this thought process, this emotion is here, now Spirit says, let me give you the guidance to transform it, which leads to the last step, action. And what I like to say is radical action. I mean, you have to make big moves in the direction of your desires. How this happened for me in terms of my womb. I was storing a narrative in my womb of abandonment and rejection. I grew up with a single mother. My mother and my father got divorced when I was about 3, and they just couldn't see eye to eye. They were young, they were hot-headed, and they didn't have the skills and resources to really work through their stuff. And so I created a narrative or a perspective or a belief based off of my experience of them. And a part of that belief was if my father wasn't spending time with me, if he wasn't making time with me, then I wasn't worthy, or he didn't love me, or I wasn't the apple of his eye. And so in my relationship, at the beginning of my relationship with my husband, Dream, whenever we weren't spending time together like how I wanted to, I would start going crazy. I would start being fearful. I would start, anticipating that something was wrong, or I wasn't doing something right, or maybe he wasn't interested. My mind would start to tell all of these stories of abandonment and rejection and not being good enough, or maybe the relationship not being what I desired for it to be. And I remember having these thoughts and becoming aware of these feelings and this anxiety I was having anytime my husband needed to go and do things without me, and anytime I just had to be sitting with myself. And so after I became aware of it and I acknowledged, okay, this is a wound that stems from wanting my father to come and spend time with me, but him not coming because he was working, or because he was mad at my mother, or whatever the situation may be. I had to acknowledge that. And I had to accept that wounded child, that inner child, was still showing up in my present life. See, my mind didn't remember in the moment, oh, this is your inner child really wanting your father there. But the womb remembers that pain. The womb remembers that heartache. while the mind forgets about it, stores it far away, right? So after I accepted that that was present, I took radical action. I mean, I literally like was forcing my husband out of the house. I was like, babe, go somewhere, go do something on your own, go make content, go drop off packages. Like, I'm good alone, right? So what I ended up having to do was change the emotional charge I had to the memory of my father, right? I had to go back into that inner child wound, and I had to say, look, the narrative of the story that I've created from this memory is not really true and not really in alignment. Like, my father really loves me. Like, and not only that, I love myself, I value myself, I trust myself, I know who I am. So I was able to rewire and rewrite that story and no longer need the validation from my partner or anybody else through their presence and through their time with me, right? And so we have to rewrite the energetic signature that is stored in our wombs in order to create a new timeline. So what we are essentially doing is rewriting our past through becoming present within our wombs. It's understanding that your emotions are not your enemies, they are portals. And when you enter them consciously, you transmute your pain into power. And so here's a womb practice to support you in releasing and reprogramming the stories and the narratives that you've been birthing from your past, that you've inherited from your mother and your grandmother and your lineage. Here's a practice to do. Number one is womb breathing. A simple meditation is to breathe deeply into your womb. So as you inhale in through your nose, you want to bring that energy down into your womb, really filling it up and expanding it out. And expand. And then you want to exhale. As you exhale, you want to visualize yourself releasing any stagnation, releasing any emotional residue from your womb. You want to breathe into your womb and exhale from your womb. And so one of the things that you want to do as you do this, when you inhale, stomach expands, womb relaxes. Okay? When you inhale, stomach expands, your womb or your pelvic floor, we want it to actually relax. We want it to let go. And then as you exhale through your mouth, we want to create tension and power through the pelvic floor. This is transmutation energy. This is you pulling up a new reality. This is you getting out of the memory and the trauma that is so human and that is so grounded. This is you evolving the perspective through the chakras. So when we inhale using our breath, we want to release and surrender. When we exhale, we want to pull up the new reality, the new perspective, the new state of being. This is a simple practice. You are essentially doing Kegels, but with a spiritual essence and force behind it. Number two is emotional transmutation and visualization, right? You want to really surround yourself in a color and in a frequency that is in alignment with the healing that you desire. You want to surround your womb in this color. So if the emotional trauma that you need to heal is affecting, let's say, a part of your thinking, right? This trauma that you experience, it doesn't allow your mind to flow clearly, or you find yourself distracted. You want to visualize around your womb and around your body a violet color, a purple color, something that resonates with the frequency of psychic abilities, of clear thoughts, the crown chakra, the third eye chakra. If the emotional trauma or something that you are experiencing has been impacting your abundance or your fortune, you may want to visualize your womb surrounded in red and orange. You want to add energy, add fuel. Maybe this trauma affects your confidence. Maybe it affects your ability to show up in your light and let yourself be seen. Then you want to take the time and visualize yellow around your womb, right? You want to circulate that light and that frequency all around your aura. And what you are doing is invigorating yourself with this energy. A great book that you can get is called The Healer's Handbook. In The Healer's Handbook, they have a detailed breakdown of color, meaning, and theory, and how visualizing yourself in these specific colors can support you in your healing. The last thing that I want you to do in order to reprogram those memories and do the emotional alchemy to start birthing a new reality through your womb is mirror or journal magic or journal prompting. I want you to either look at yourself in the mirror and say, what emotional patterns did I inherit? And what emotional patterns am I choosing for myself today? You can look in the mirror and say that to yourself. What did I inherit and what am I choosing today? Right? And as you look into your own eyes, really observe the thoughts, the emotions, the memories that come up. And then if you decide to do it in your journal, I want you to do it right before you go to bed. Right before you go to bed, write those things down and pay attention to the visions, pay attention to the dreams, pay attention to the thoughts that come up right as you drift off to sleep and right as you are waking up. A quick mantra that you can do to partner with this practice is remind yourself, I am the alchemist of my lineage. I am the alchemist of my lineage. And what you are saying when you say that is, I am rewriting the story. I am rewriting the narrative. Every trial becomes a triumph. Any pain point becomes a point of purpose and power. I am creating generational blessings. I am leaving a legacy of love, light, and wealth. I am the alchemist of my lineage. The second mantra that you can say is, I transform all pain into divine power. All pain into divine power. When you heal your womb, you heal your bloodline. Every transmuted emotion becomes light in your lineage. Your womb doesn't forget, it recreates. I invite you to continue this journey with us and with me in the Sacred Sister Circle on Patreon. The link will be in the description or the comments somewhere. And make sure that you stay tuned to Womb Wednesdays. We're going to be continuing this womb alchemy and this goddess embodiment. I'm looking forward to all the great things to come. Peace and love, Sacred Sisters, where we heal, connect, and serve. I'll catch you on the next one.